Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasul Kareem. We were discussing the chapter on Al-Masu al-Khuffain, to make masa on the khuf. And we mentioned to you some of the similarities and differences between masa al-khuf and masa al-tayammum, some similarities, some differences, etc. And why they are brought together, because they are similar in many ways. But if you look at masa al-tayammum, in some ways it is a stronger taharat, etc. So if you look at Masal al-Khuffayn, it is permissible, it is established, and the ahadith are mashhur. If mashallah, you done in your usul al-hadith, mashhur means it are abundant. There's enough hadith. It's, it's proven beyond doubt, way beyond doubt, that this is permissible in Sharia. And you done usul al-hadith also. There, another thing that affects the strength of a riwayat is who's narrating the riwayat. Once you have a junior sahabi narrating something, and sometimes you have a senior sahabi narrating something, right? So when a senior sahabi narrates something, that is a sign that it is even more acceptable. So when you, like, sometimes you got a junior sahabi narrating something, and you got a senior sahabi or a sahabi that is known for his faqahat, etc. Then on account of his faqahat, etc., his riwayat will get precedence over another riwayat. You understand what I'm saying? If it's a junior sahabi, are you with me? So what we're saying here is, with regards to the possibility of making masa, there are senior sahaba ikram that narrated. Kibaru sahaba ikram. You see, as Abu Bakr Siddiq, as Umar Farooq, as Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, as Ibn Abbas, as Ibn Mas'ud, and other senior Sahaba Ikram, not only did they narrate about the possibility, in fact, they themselves used to make Masal Khufayn, right? Which obviously proves that they saw it from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You know, there's a book which called Ad-Dirayatu fi Tafrij Ahadith al-Hidayah. Allama Ibn Hajar Asqalani, where all the hadith that are in Hidaayah Sharif, he recorded one place. He recorded 26 ahadith that speaks about the permissibility of making Mustal Khufayn. Just one, two hadith just to understand. عن بلال رضي الله عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم توضأ ومسى على خفين والخمار. Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم made wudu, and then he made masa upon his khufayn. عن عمرو بن أمية أنه رأى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يمسى الخفين. The Sahabi says, so Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم. عن علي رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جعل للمقيم يوما وليلة. That Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم, as Ali says, Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم fixed for the resident one day and one night. وللمسافر ثلاثة أيام ولياليها. For a person who's traveling, he can make مساف for 3 days and 3 nights. أنا عائشة نريد عائشة قالت كان رسول يأمرنا, that the wisdom commands, أن نمسح الخفين يوما وليلة, that we make مساف on the خفين a day and night, right? That's للمقيم for the muqim, وللمسافر ثلاثة, and for the musafir 3 days. So I said there are many hadith. There are just some hadith to prove the permissibility. Right. So these riwayat and other riwayat, it makes it abundantly clear that Masal Khufayn is proven from the Sunnah. The author of Inayah, um, Alama Babarti, he makes naqal a opinion of Imam Wanifa. ما قلت بالمسي حتى جاءني فيه مثل ضوء النهار. See, look here, the Quran is quite clear that you have to wash your feet, right? There's nothing in the Quran about making masal khufayn, right? So now, in order to, like, so to say, add something to the Quran, the hadith must be strong. That's why we say, according to Hanafi Madhab, there's another principle that you can add to the Quran what the mashhur riwayat. Remember, we done this before. I mentioned to you. So Imam Abu Hanifa says that ma qultu bin masi. I did not say it's permissible to make masa. Hatta ja'ani. Until this matter was so clear to me, misla in nahari. Like, as you know, if I walk out here, how clear the sun is. So how clear. That's how clear. Only when it was so clear to me that it is permissible to make masal khufayn, then I said, I gave the fatwa now it's permissible. Because I was circumspect, because I was really, it seemed to be contradictory of the Quran. You with me? Then I mentioned to you this year, this is a very important thing this year also. That uh, somebody asked Imam Hanifa, what are the signs by which we can recognize who are the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? I did mention to you this before, right? What are the signs? أن يفضل الشيخين, that you give precedence to Shaykhain, that you consider out of all the Sahaba Ikram, like I told you, by this you can exclude so many deviant groups. أن يفضل الشيخين, that you give virtue to to Abu Bakr and Umar, that you consider them. Shaykhain refer to the two father-in-laws of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as Abu Bakr was the father of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha, and Hafsa was the father of Hazrat Umar was the father of Hafsa. So when you accept as Abu Bakr, automatically you're chucking out the Shias. When you accept as Umar, you're chucking out the Shias, right? So you fadil al-shaykhain, wa yuhibbu al-khatanain, and you love the two son-in-laws, as Uthman and as Ali, right? So when you love as Uthman, you also try chucking out the Shias because they don't like as Uthman. They said, Uthman, you serve the Khilafat. And so you're chucking them out. Well, and then when you say when you love Hazrat Ali, you're removing the Khawarij. Because remember the Khawarij, they had a problem with Hazrat Ali. They say, we'll do this in detail, we'll come Asidu Samawiyah. When Hazrat Ali had a difference with Muawiyah, then they decided to make Sulah. So they said, no, Hazrat Ali had no. Although initially they supported, the Khawarij initially supported Hazrat Ali against Hazrat Muawiyah, right? But when he wanted to make Sulah, they said, no, you got no right to make Sulah. In al hukmu illa lillah, that you must use the Quran or make the final decision. You can't write, and then they turn against Hazrat Ali. So they the Khawarij, the hate Hazrat Ali, right? So the Khawarij that hates the Ali. Now when you say we love Hazrat Ali, you're removing the Khawarij already, right? Then what? So see, through this one statement of Imam Hanifa is so loaded with knowledge. Now this year, wayara al-massa al-khufayni. Now a person who is of the opinion that it's permissible to make masa al-khuf. Now you think in your mind this is a simple masla about just making masa al-khuf. It is a simple fiqh thing, but it is representative of a broader ideology. It is representative. I'll show you now. Outwardly, the hadith seem to contradict the Quran. So, but if you accept the hadith, that means you accept the hadith as a hujjat in Shariah. You understand what I'm saying? That means you accept the hadith as a secondary source of Shariah. And when you accept the hadith as a secondary source of Shariah, then you are, what are you? Remember, I told Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Who are we? We believe in the Quran. It's not mentioned part of this. It goes to say, we believe in the Sunnah and we believe in the Jama'ah. We believe in the Sahaba Ikram. So by saying that by saying we accept the hadith, we saying we accept the sunnah, right? And if you accept the sunnah, then there are so many hadith that speak about Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam being the last Nabi. So who you chucking out there? You chucking out who? You understood that? You following nicely. If you say you accept Masal Khuf, and Masal Khuf is only proven from the sunnah, follow nicely. If you say you accept Masal Khuf, that means you accept the sunnah. And if you accept the sunnah, that means you are from Ahlul Sunnah. You understood it? And when you accept the Sunnah, you're chucking out the Shia. Why? Because there's many virtue in the hadith of the Sahaba Ikram. So by saying you accept the Sunnah, you divorcing yourself from the Shia. When you say you accept the Sunnah, you're divorcing yourself from the Qadianis, because the Qadianis, they say Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is a Nabi and all that type of thing. When there are so many hadith that say that Nabi is the last Nabi, right? So see, with this one statement, you're throwing out two of the main deviant groups. If you look in this world today, basically three deviant groups that we have a problem. One is the Shia, one is the Qadiani, eh? Yeah, and one is what we term, the old name was the Mu'tazilat. Those they call them the rationalists. But in today we call them the Quraniyin people. People only believe in the Quran, they don't believe in the Sunnah. So obviously again, if you accept the Sunnah, that means you reject the Quraniyin people because they only believe in the Quran, they don't believe in the Sunnah. Are you with me? So this small statement of Imam Hanifa, it is so loaded, it is so pregnant with knowledge that if you accept what is in here, you will exclude most of the deviant groups. You will exclude most of the deviant, or if not most, you say all the major deviant groups. Yes, the others you get like in America you get this Nation of Islam. Okay, you'll also exclude them because you accept the Sunnah, then they also believe Malcolm X was a prophet. You get Aga Khanis, you get the Khojas, you get all these people that claim they are Muslim. But anyway, with this statement, which defines who the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, you exclude most of the deviant groups. All right, so that was just a brief introduction to Masa al Khufain. Let's start the actual kitab. We look at it, we say al Masu al Khufaini. Right? Masa means, what does Masa means? Masa yamussu. Masa yamissu. Imrarul yad al shay. Not the technical meaning. If you pick up a dictionary, what does massa means? Just to pass your hand on something. So if I pass my hand over this desk, if I pass my hand on you, I'm making massa. I thought it's maybe a masasa. You must just check this. You got a big dictionary here. Maybe it's masasa yam susu and yam masasa yam sisu. That's right. Masistu. Or if it's masasa yam sasu, it's masastu, right? So immoral yadi ala shay. Just to pass your hand on something. Then in technical terminology, when you speak of masa, like we done the chapter, you get it there. Not only in this chapter, there's masa al khufain, there's al masu al jabirati. You make masa on the bandage. That's also very very interesting masa that you'll come across. It means isabatul yadi isabatu, yeah, so isabatu al yadi al udwa, to pass your hand on a limb, right? Now, either that lamb has got a bandage on it, or either that lamb has got a hoof on it, like which is in the right. And then when we speak about al-masu al-khufain in this particular context, so the technical means isabatu yad al-udwa, but in the context of masu al-khufain, or in the context of al-masu al-jabira, al-jabaira, sometimes you've got a bandage, you say isabatu yad al-mubtallati al-khufa al-malbusa, is to pass a wet hand, interesting, on a hoof that is worn. What it means, you can't take the hoof, you make masa on it, and then you put the hoof on after that. So when you speak on masa, you say, I made masa on the hoof, then you put the hoof on after, no. Right? So, isabatul yaril mubtallati al hoof al malbusa, to put, to pass a wet hand on a hoof that is worn. Right? But anyway, more details of that will come as we go through the sabbath. While we discussing this, I just want to teach you. I want to just share something else with you. What is maybe it's not part of the sabbath. What's the difference between masa and ghasal? Like we say, you have to wash your limbs, right? And why don't you make masa of the limb, right? What? Tell me what you understand. What is masa? Okay? We done now the meaning of masa. Masa means to just to let your hand must be wiped and you wipe over it. Like, okay, I'm forgetting the main one is masa al ras. You make your hand wet and then you pass your wet end of it. So we know masa al rasi, masa al khufaini. We know al masu al jabairi, jabib, right? And ghasal, what is ghasal? This is yeah. So just remember, this is important. This will help you. This will help you a lot of times. I'll tell you now how it can help you. Ghasal is every hair must get wet. Say, for instance, I'm washing my arm. If you see all these hairs, all of it must be wet, and at least one or two drops must fall off. Now, why this massage important? It can come handy for you. I'll tell you why it can come handy for you. Remember, a couple of years ago in Cape Town, there was a severe drought. Maybe about 10 years ago, and the MJC was giving this fatwa that you mustn't make wudu in it. You must use a water bottle and all that type of thing, right? So although some ulama they're upset, they say no. People got why compromise the sunnah wudu when people got water to waste on other things. Rather cut out the other things and make a proper sunnah wudu. But okay, that's besides the point. But the main point I want to make is this. So if you like that means you got a wudu problem, like maybe you're a lady, you got discharge, or a man, you go to the Haramain Sharifa and all that type of thing. So easy thing to do is you make wudu and you wear your khuf, right? So obviously wash your feet in the haram is very difficult. You take a water bottle with you. So if you spray your lump, two drops fall off, and you wipe it, that lump is washed. Or maybe another time the skin come handy for you also. So there's no reason not to make wudu. Maybe Allah Ta'ala protect us. Maybe you're in hospital, in the ICU, you can't make it to the bathroom, whatever. You use a bedpan, you want to make wudu. Then you just take the bottle, you spray every hair that must come wet, and at least one or two drops will drop off. Then you say your wudu is done. You understand what I'm saying? So just two conditions for your two conditions for ghusl to be valid. Every hair must be wet, and the other thing is this here, at least two or more drops must drop off from the lump, then your ghusl is done. So this will become very, very handy, I tell you. Whether it is for in hospital, Allah Ta'ala protect us all, or you're going for Hajj or in the Haramain Sharifain. Sometimes you go early, you get a nice place, you do break, you have to go out, you can't get in, especially nowadays. They shut the doors before, they never used to shut the doors. They just shut the doors randomly in the Haramain Sharifain. Now you came so early, now you lose your spot. So it's very difficult. I see almost time is almost done, but let's just do one ibarat here just for the barakah. Al-masu al-khufaini ja'izun bi sunnati. To make masa on the khuf ja'izun, it is permissible bi sunnati. What do I mean bi sunnah? It is established through the sunnah. It is established. Although some ulama say, you see this verse, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila faghsilu wujuhakum wa aydiyakum wamsahu bi ru'usikum wa arjulakum. So arjula is mansub. It's atf upon ghasl. Some kira say wamsahu bi ru'usikum wa arjulikum, and make masa of your feet. So they say that other kirat refer to when you have a khuf. But okay, but the main thing is here, we say the Spirit of the wal akhbaru fihi mustafidatun. The information it is mustafid. Mustafid means it is abundant, it is copious, it is widespread, right? So at-taqila, to such an extent, inna man lam yarau kana mubtadi'an. Whoever does not accept the permissibility of making masa on a khuf is a mubtadi. Although this is a fiqh ibarat, yeah, but we learn something interesting from this ibarat also. What do we learn? When something is so, it's not mutawatir. Remember, if you mutawatir is that amount that is so much that it's difficult to conspire, it's difficult to believe people conspire to lie. So when something is mutawatir, and which is the Quran, and you get certain hadith are mutawatir. When you deny mutawatir, you come out of the fold of Islam. But when you deny mustafid, you don't come out of the fold of Islam. You consider a mubtadi, consider a bid'ati. So this is not mutawatir to such an extent. If you deny it, you come out of the fold of Islam. It's not an aqidah related issue. But if you do not accept it, right, then you are a mubtadi', right? Then the next thing I told you, remember I told you about this person who was boasting about his sheikh. He's telling, my sheikh is such a pious person. He practices on all the sunnahs and he's wearing khufs all the time. I told you that although it's proven from the sunnah, but it's not a better thing to do. Lakin man ra'ahu, whoever ra'ah means he's of the opinion that it is permissible to use the khuf, accepted. But thumma lam yamsah, but you don't make masah. Akhiran bil azimati, because you understand it. Look here, to wash your feet is more reward because there's more PT, there's more effort, right? Right? Kana ma'juran. He will be rewarded for that. He will be rewarded for it. Okay, we stop there, inshallah. We will continue Monday with this. Now we're going to switch over to the tafsir.